What's up, divehards? We are in South Florida, which is not just where I live, but one of the best places on the planet to see big sharks like tiger sharks, great hammerheads, bull sharks, lemons, silkies, duskies, sandbars. We have all the sharks. Let's go shark diving. All right, good morning. Today we're going to Jupiter, and Jupiter is actually where the US comes closest to the Gulf Stream, which is a powerful northern current which basically acts as a superhighway for all sorts of pelagic life. And that makes it an ideal location for shark diving. And let me tell you, I've done shark diving all over the world, and what we have here in our backyard in Jupiter is some of the best ever. So there's actually two ways to do this. You can either go with a scuba diving charter, which is what we're doing today and is for experienced divers only, or you can go with a snorkel charter, which is actually one of our favorite activities whenever we have friends or family visiting the area. Since it requires no experience at all, I actually took my parents out to meet the sharks, which was awesome. And you'll see what that's like. But first, we're gonna go scuba diving with Emerald Charters, which is one of the OG shark boats here in Jupiter. Morning, Captain. Where are we going today?
Morning. Out to the ledge, deep ledge.
All right, so we are at the dock. This is the Emerald, and the plan is to go at least 3 miles offshore to get further away from Florida, closer to the Gulf Stream, and then to go for a drift dive over the deep ledge. And there's usually a pretty powerful northern current, hopefully good visibility, a lot of sharks. This is a shark dive, so our shark handler, I think today it's gonna be Nick, is going to be cutting up some bait and chumming for the sharks once we're down there to attract the sharks. And because we're currently in winter, the target species for today's dives are going to be bull sharks and lemon sharks. Maybe a great hammerhead or two if we're lucky, but it's a little bit early in the season. Bull sharks we can see here year-round. We actually have two populations. We have the summer bulls and the winter bulls. And the winter bulls tend to be a little bit more active, a little more amped up, so these should be some fun dives. Let's get out there and see what we can find. Okay, so we had great dives all winter long off the deep ledge, and now it's actually April, which means things are changing. The bull sharks are starting to thin out, and now the summer sharks, so the silkies and the sandbars, are starting to make appearances. And what I'm really excited about is now is just about the time where we start to see the really big sharks, the tiger sharks and the great hammerheads. So our next dive is going to be a drift over 3 shipwrecks, and we're going to pause our drift on the 3rd shipwreck, hang out and see if we can bring in some of these bigger sharks. Let's go shark diving. All right, so we had some crazy dives with Captain Randy on the Emerald. You never know what's going to show up. We had, on one of our dives in April, a big great white shark stalking the wrecks maybe 50 feet away. You never know, so you should always keep your head on a swivel down there. Now we're going to go at it again from a different angle. We're going to ditch the scuba gear. We're going to go free diving with Calypso charters out of West Palm Beach. And today I have two very special guests. We have the lovely Heather Dials, and my main man, Hector. Come on, buddy. So we're gonna be doing a similar thing here. We're gonna be going offshore, dropping a bait crate in the water and seeing what shows up. And it's probably worth mentioning that without the bait, there would be no sharks. They're actually incredibly shy animals. But when we have a food opportunity for them, that risk aversion goes way down. And it's even better if you're not blowing bubbles. Hey Raina, what's going on?
What's up?
What are we doing today?
We're gonna go see some sharks with our good friend Hector here.
All right, let's do it.
Amazing.
Lewis, this is Hector. Hector, awesome. All right, so we are at the deep ledge, and oh wow, we have sharks already. I guess that means it's time to get in. Hector's gonna stay on the boat because he's shark food. Let's do it. So that was a long shark diving season, actually so long that I don't even live in Florida anymore. But everything in the video was from the summer of 22 into the spring of 23, except for the shots of Patrick the tiger shark, which was from May 2018. And that's because this year the tiger sharks didn't show up, and we don't really know why. Migratory patterns are changing, the Gulf Stream might be slowing down, sharks are definitely being fished out of the ocean. Unfortunately, last year we had a big shark killing tournament in South Florida that was tacitly endorsed by the Florida Wildlife Commission and NOAA. But the reality is that this type of stuff is actually pretty common in Florida. We oftentimes will run into sharks with bullet wounds, broken jaws, just dead on the ocean bottom. And so while there's a lot of controversy around shark diving within the dive industry, I think it's almost silly to argue about this when the same sharks are being chummed so that they can be fished out and killed. And I could do an entire video and go on and on about shark diving as a concept and why I generally think it's good for shark conservation, but I'm going to hold off on that and just acknowledge that shark diving is not for everyone, including a lot of divers that I respect a lot. But if you're like me and you're down and you're a good diver, then Captain Randy probably runs my favorite shark dive in the entire country on the Emerald. It's 3 tanks, run year-round, and almost always off the deep ledge and the Jupiter wreck trek, which you saw. And shark diving obviously has risks. It's scuba diving with sharks. But the Emerald is run safely and sensibly if you can follow the dive protocols. And that means you need to have your shit together as a diver. So negative entries, drifting, buoyancy, equipment, all of that has to be muscle memory so you can focus on the sharks. And if that's not you, that's totally fine, since Calypso runs a great snorkel and freedive charter that requires very little other than just being comfortable in the water with a mask and snorkel. And it really is a world-class experience. Gives you a totally different perspective, so I would recommend it for everyone. obviously at your own risk. So what do you think? Are you adding Jupiter to the bucket list? What do you think of shark diving as a concept? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, dive hard.